Hello there, I'm Kafi Khan and welcome to my CSS course. Let's start with what is CSS. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. It defines how HTML elements are to be displayed. In other words, it helps to format and add styles to HTML elements. CSS is used to design the web page layouts and how these layouts appear on different screens. This is what pure HTML looks like, and CSS can turn it into this. CSS styling follows this syntax. Let's see what these lines mean. It consists of a selector and a declaration block. The selector helps to choose the HTML element. The declaration block contains all the declarations, and these declarations define certain styles. We can define multiple styles for an HTML element, as you can see here. So we've defined font style and color. So these are two declarations. Let's see what this declaration line means. First, we have this property called font size. Then we have a value which is 24 pixels. This line just means give font size 24 pixels to the selected HTML element. CSS has a lot of such properties for defining different styles like background color, element width, element height, borders, and much more. Let's talk a bit about these selectors. We can use the HTML tag name if we want to style all HTML elements with that tag. For example, in this case, all the HTML elements with paragraph tags will get a font size of 24 pixels and text color of blue. Similarly, say you wanted to give a red color to all the H3 tags, you could do something like this. Similarly, if you want to select a specific HTML element, we can use the HTML ID value. So as you can see, we've selected this HTML image element with the ID cover pic, and we've given it a width of 400 pixels and height of 400 pixels. Now say we want to style multiple HTML elements with the same style, then we can use the class property. As you can see here, we're selecting all the paragraphs with the class message, and we're giving them a color red. In the coming videos, we will learn all about CSS. See you in the next video. Bye and take care. Hello everyone and welcome back. In today's video, we will learn about different ways we can style our HTML elements using CSS. So let's begin. There are three ways you can add styles to the HTML elements, which are inline CSS, internal CSS, and external CSS. Let's try our first one, which is inline CSS. So this is when you add a style property to the HTML element. So let's try an example. So let's bring up our code editor. So this is the HTML document that we've got. Let's try adding some inline styles. So inline styles can be added just by using the style property. So style, and let's give it a width and height, say with 100% and height auto. Let's save it. All right, so as you can see now, the image is taking the full width of the screen, but there is a little margin in the body, so let's remove that. So again, let's use inline styles. So style and margin, say 0. Let's save it, and as you can see, that margin is gone now. All right, let's add some styles for this heading. Say style, font size, say 48 pixels. Let's save it. Let's bring it in the center. So text align, center, let's save it. And now as you can see, our text is in the center. Similarly, let's add some styles for these paragraphs. So style and say font size, say 24 pixels. Let's save it. Let's give it a line height, say 1.4. Let's save it. And text align, let's bring everything to the center. Let's save it. And as you can see now, our paragraph text is in the center and the font is a bit bigger with the line height a bit bigger, a little more. All right, let's add some more stylings. So let's just copy this style for the next paragraph as well. Let's save it here. And as you can see, both of our paragraphs have the same styling. Let's add a bit of padding on both inside. So coming back here, let's give it a padding, say padding left. say 32 pixels. Let's save it. Let's give it a padding right, say 32 pixels. Let's add this padding to the next paragraph as well. Let's save it. So as you can see now, we've added some custom styles. So we've changed the font size, line height, alignment, width, etc., etc. Don't worry, even if you don't know about these properties at the moment, we will be covering all of this in the coming videos. The purpose of this video is to show you different ways we can add styles to HTML element. So the first one was inline styles. And to add inline styles, we just use this style property and define our styles here. So the next method is internal CSS. So this is when we use the style element inside the head tag of HTML page. So let's add the style element here. It requires a closing tag as well. Now we can move our styles here. So this would be internal styles. Okay, so we've got some styles for the image. So let's remove these from here. And to move it up there, we need a selector for the image. So HTML provides ID and class for that purpose. So we use ID for uniquely identifying HTML elements. So this is just one element, so we'll just use ID here. Say cover pic. And to use a class, we use dot and class name. So in our case, which is cover pic. Let's paste the styles here. And let's save it. Okay, so the styles aren't working. So the problem is we've added ID here, but we've used the class selector. To use ID, we use hash. So let's save it. And now as you can see, our image is back to normal. Similarly, we've added some styles for this heading. So let's just remove these from here. Let's give it an identifier. So let's say country name. Coming up here because this is an ID, so hash. And let's paste the styles here. Let's save it. Now we've got both of our paragraphs. So as I mentioned earlier, there are two ways to select HTML element. One was ID and another was class. So we use class when we want to add the same style to multiple HTML elements. So in our case, both of our paragraphs have the same style. So we can use class here. Let's select all this and let's give it a class, say country description. Let's save it. And as you can see, the styles are gone. So to use classes, we use dot followed by class name. So dot, and then the class name was country description. Let's paste the styles here. Let's save it. And as you can see, the styles are back. Similarly, the other paragraph, if we just remove these styles from here, and if we save it, so as you can see, the styles are gone. But now, to add the same styles that we added to the above paragraph, we can just use class. And the class name was country description. Let's save it. And as you can see, all our styles are back. So this is how we add internal styles. So we add all our CSS inside this style element in HTML head tag. Now moving on to the third method, which is external styles. So for that, we need to create a new file. So let's do that. So Explorer, new file, index.css. So these CSS files have extension .css. So let's create this new file. Now, if you see here, these are all the styles that we've used for the page. So just cut all these styles from here and paste it here. All right, let's save it. Let's remove this empty styles element. Let's save it. So coming back here, and now as you can see, all our styles are gone. The image is bigger, the text stylings, everything is gone. Why is that? So we did create a new CSS file, but we did not link it to the HTML page. So for that, to link external files, we use the link element. So let's add that. So this is a self-closing element. We don't need a closing tag here. It requires href property to define the location of the external file. So href, and because this is a local file, so we will be using the relative path. So // And as you can see, we've got our index.css file. So let's select that. Now it requires another property called rel or relation. So this property is used to define the relationship between the HTML document and the external file. In our case, it is style sheet. So let's write that. Let's save it. Some browsers also require a file type. So for now, let's just add it. So type text/CSS. Let's save it. Let's bring it up here. And as you can see, our styles are back. So that's how you link your external CSS files to your HTML page. All right. Now let's say you have defined styles for an HTML element using all three methods. So the question arises, which style will be used? So in that case, the priority goes something like this. Inline styles override the internal styles. Internal styles override the external styles. Let's try an example to understand this better. So let's just bring this up here. So if you see, this country name, this heading has a font size of 48 pixels and text alignment of center. So if we use the same ID and add more styles internally, so let's create a style element here and let's use that ID here. So let's say font size, say 60 pixels. Let's save it. And as you can see, the font size is bigger. Or let's say we want a smaller size, say 20. Let's save it. And as you can see, the size is bigger. But still, if you look here in the external file, the font size is 48. But internally, on the page, we have given the font size as 20. So this 20 overrides the 48. Similarly, as I mentioned, the inline styles override the internal styles. So this is the country name heading. So let's add some styles here. Let's say we want a bigger font size. So font size, say 36 pixels. Let's save it. And as you can see, the font size increased for our heading. So let's compare. So in the external file, the font size is 48 pixels. For the internal CSS, we've got the font size as 20 pixels. But for the inline styles, we've got the font size as 36 pixels. So as you can see, the inline styles take the priority over both the other options. Now, another thing to remember, say you add more styles for the same class, say country description, and you use the same property and you update the value. So instead of center, now you say left. If you save it, as you can see, all your description is left aligned. So even the sequence matters. So whatever styles that you've defined the last is what is going to be rendered on the HTML page. That's all for today, guys. If there's something that you did not understand, feel free to drop a comment and we will discuss it. See you in the next video. Bye and take care.